How to get the cinematic contrast. Hello everybody, my name is Marco Bagnoli, I'm a cinematographer. You probably have often the problem with your footage that you're looking at it and thinking about, why is it not that contrasty? I want to add more contrast, but when I add contrast in post, it looks fake, it doesn't look natural. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate to you several lighting techniques, how you can enhance the contrast on your image without making it look fake. So this is the first shot we're looking at, and the first thing you notice is deep black shadows. Nice highlight, nice dynamic range. Everything just looks good and cinematic, how we like it. But how we create a shot like this? First things first is choose your angle. We will step into the room thinking about, okay, this is our master shot. We always start with the widest and most prominent shot. In this scenario, this is this shot. We're in this little bit more higher angle, tilt a little bit down. So what do we have in the frame? We have this window in the frame, we have this TV, and that's it. On light sources. Always look for light sources. Also, don't put your actors in the frame when you start lighting and do your compositing, because they don't matter at the beginning. They're the most important thing, but you just put them for the feel 1 second and then get them out, because to light everything else is more important at the beginning. So imagine them not being there. So I want this feeling in this room, they're playing on their console. Can we look what console it is? No, we cannot. And I want now this deep dark feeling. So I want a big light source from outside so that we get this contrast. We have this window. This is the only place where light can come from, or from this TV. But this TV would not be bright enough, gives us the feeling, because when we want this hard backlight and feeling from the TV has to be very, very bright, and there's not such a bright TV, and it will destroy the look. So we choose our key light, our main light is coming from here. Now you have different versions how you can do it. First thing, green screen. Do I want to see outside? Do I want to replace something when we go for close-up and see outside? If we don't do green screen. Other part is we put half silk, good gloss, everything that you like, or full, and we just blast lights in it and let it clip. You don't have to keep every single detail in your dynamic range. It's not important. When you want to make the feeling that something strong and aggressive light is coming from outside, just do it. Let it clip. So sometimes clipping is a feeling. When you're outside looking at the sun, you don't try to keep the dynamic range in the sun. No, the sun is a very, very bright and aggressive light source. And when you want to make the audience feel it, so you have to make it clip. And that's what they've done here. So you can choose whatever light you want. Most important part is just that you have your diffusion and then just blast your 600D sky panels, what you want, just into the room, so that we get this nice texture and ambient from this side. Now that we have a light direction, put our actors in. First thing we probably notice is that they're pretty backlit. We just have a silhouette of them, and their faces and other side of the much brighter or than a silhouette. It depends actually from the color and the distance from this wall here. When they're very close to a white wall, this light would bounce like crazy back into a room and everything would look flat. So how do we counter it? It's actually pretty easy. Several times before, just black out the whole other side of the room and also a little bit of this side. So every section of the room that you don't see, black it out so you can create more light control. This light is not bouncing back everywhere, and we keep that what our plan is, that the light is coming only from here. Goal is achieved. So what do we do now when we think it's a bit too contrasty? We go for a fill light. Now we know, okay, the other light source is the TV. So there is nothing wrong to add somewhere here a light, Nastera or a light mat or something like this, and just blast it into the scenery so that it gets a little bit more wrap around the face. But what's interesting, if you look very closely at his face, the light is actually coming from under him. So it could be possible that they put here a light inside that is giving him the key, but this light looks very warm and is very neutral on his face, so it shouldn't be that. Other possibility is they used the ground as the bones, and this is actually what is giving the key light. But what I would do, like I said before, is we put a light mat or something like this just out of frame in the area of the TV. Just put a little bit of key on their faces so that they're just not a black silhouette, where we want to see emotions, we want to see the expressions while gaming. So a fill light is very important. Cinematic look doesn't mean, okay, hard contrast, we don't see nothing, everything is silhouetted. No, you have to get a taste of when and where you want your contrast ratios to be this or this. Then to add everything up, it's a moody scene. It should feel a little bit more retro. We put a little bit haze in the background. This lifts the shadows in the background. And most important thing, I tell you this very often, just don't haze the whole room. Only haze the part of the image where you want to enhance or lift up the shadows. So just put it here in the background, just a few, and it's done. Then you get this nice look from this image. So this is practically the same scene from the same commercial, but a bit more lighter. It's the day scene from it. How do we work a scene like this? Watch where are the light sources. Now we have these windows are across the room. They go around here. So we know, okay, this is where the light has to come from to get a nice natural look. But the difference now is the fill ratios. She is a lot brighter. The background is a lot brighter. How do we achieve a look like this, but still getting nice contrast? For now, I would expose for here outside. This is a moment where you try to keep the textures outside because it looks interesting. It helps the story. Maybe we go outside later, so you foreshadow a little bit. But when you expose for outdoor, the whole room gets darker. So you have to bring ambience back into the room. There are different ways where you can do it. The classic way is just put a light inside and blast it into the ceiling so that the whole room gets a nice even ambience. The other technique is put a strong light outside the windows and blast it into the room so that we get a bit of bounce and the whole room gets brighter. So it depends on your possibility, on the space you have. But then we have to create ambience in a room like this, and we want a more soft, a more daylight look. You have to get really soft light. If you close at her, we have nice soft wrap around her. What I would do in a scenario like this, I would put your biggest diffusion as you have in half, 6x6, 8x8. This is something that fits into the room. And then put something like an Godox 600B behind it and blast it onto her. And maybe put, when you're going for the close-up, another frost frame just before her face. And we have a double diffusion. And then through this triple diffusion, because we have light dome, then the silk, then the frost frame, we get this nice wrap around her, because the light should also feel like the window. So you need a source that is equally the size, otherwise it looks really lit. Then the only thing they had to do is put some floppy here across her face, a bit above her, to get this nice contrast on her side so that the shot doesn't look flat at all. When you're shooting a scene and you have the feeling that your image feels lit, it's most of the time the size of your light source, because you have always to emulate the somehow real feeling of the rule, otherwise it will feel lit. So if you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate subscription from you. My name is Marco Bagnoli and we'll see you next time.